Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Did a long walk earlier today, this morning, which I videoed, and I'm going to add that on to the end of this video. But for the first couple of minutes, I'm going to make a cup of coffee, sat in my car, sat in Flea, and talk a little bit about earning money when you live a nomadic, location-independent lifestyle. Nomadic in exclamation marks, because as you all know, I spend an inordinate amount of time in my hometown of Ventnor here on the Isle of Wight, which is where I am now. Show you the view. Let's switch the camera around. There's the view. Ooh, go the other way. There's the view. Nice view of the sea. Isn't that lovely? Anyway. So yeah, just a quick couple of minutes whilst I make a cup of coffee, then I'll add that walk video on. It's a mystery tour. See if you can work out where I am. But anyway, yeah. Making money. So early this morning I was working on one little thing that's going to earn me money, which is a kind of a delivery plan for a farmer actually here in the Undercliff. Took about half an hour to produce the document I produced, which is just a map. Basically the farmer wants to do some nice things with wildlife. There's public funding available to support the farmer in doing that. And one thing they need to do initially is to commission somebody, suitably qualified person, that'll be me, who can produce a plan for them. Basically a big map with a kind of a prescriptions, kind of instructions on how to manage various habitats for wildlife and what wildlife would benefit, that kind of stuff. So it's basically developing a management plan for a piece of land. Now that will take me about 2 days, so 14 hours, 16 hours all told maybe, and it will earn about £1,200, which isn't bad for 16 hours of time, but they only come up, I'm lucky to get 2 or 3 of those a year, those kind of projects. There's not that much money, but that is a little side hustle, a little way I intend to earn money over this summer. I think if I can get a few more of those, that'll be good. The main way at the moment is actually this YouTube channel, and I mean this YouTube channel, not YouTube in general, because my other channel isn't monetized yet. Steve Jones Wild Writer. Put the kettle on. I'm using the gas at the moment. Ordinarily I'd use my brilliant travel kettle, which is, can't see it, this little travel kettle here, which is superb, but the Bluetti hasn't got enough charge in it at the moment. I'm suffering a lack of sun problem. Yeah, so YouTube is currently, well, no, sorry, my employment, which I've been doing, which ends at the end of March, earns the most money. So I'm doing a paid job, working in Dorset. The contract has been extended a couple of times. That earns the most money, and it's that's a kind of a working from home situation, so that effectively is a location independent hustle. So that's the main one, but that's ending. So the second main one earns far less, and that is this YouTube channel. Ad revenue and any super chats that people very kindly give me, any what else, buymeacoffee.com donations. So if you wish to go on to buymeacoffee.com, there's a link in the description below this video. You can make a little donation to support the channel. That's another source of income, which trickles in, which is all really appreciated. I've got little affiliate links in my description below this video to Amazon primarily, and if somebody, you as a viewer, clicked one of those links and went onto Amazon and subsequently purchased something within 48 hours, I think, having followed that link, then I get a very small commission from Amazon. It's a tiny commission, barely any money at all. As it stands, in terms of Amazon, in terms of YouTube, ad revenue, buy me a coffee, super thanks, affiliate links, of those, the one that earns the most money is actually the ad revenue, which is about £10 to £15 a day. Now that is really good because that actually covers my food every day and drinks as well. So that is superb. So keep watching as many of my videos as possible for as long as possible, because that's basically covering my food costs. So thank you for that. Why are the birds going wild up there, I wonder? Something's upset them. They're all being very noisy. It's a time of year when things like ospreys might start to come in. Migrant, spring migrant, birds of prey. Maybe the odd red kite or white-tailed eagle passing through. So we're in March now, and early in the year I became a firm YouTube believer. I was a bit of a skeptic up until then, because I've been on this channel for so long, or been on YouTube for so long. 8 years I think this particular channel's lasted for, and I was earning barely anything off of it until there was a bit of a blip, and it was only a blip, it now turns out, where one of my videos got 60,000 views and I've one got, I think, 80,000 views, and those two videos earned quite a bit in ad revenue, a fair bit, and turned me into a believer, because I could see that if I did start getting significant numbers of views per video, which I'm not, it's dropped right back down, but if I do that and I can keep it going so that most of my videos get lots of views, you know, 20, 30, 40,000, then I'm covering my daily living expenses just by YouTube ad revenue alone. So that's why I became a believer. But now it's gone right down again, the views, but it's gone down to a level that was higher than it was prior to the new year, basically the new year this year. So two videos, one on New Year's Day, one 2 days after that, they're the ones that got the really high views. And just illustrated. So my target is to about £40–45 a day total living costs. That's covering absolutely everything, and I would need about 30–40,000 views per video to get that kind of income. Probably less than that, probably, no, it's probably about right actually, probably between 30 and 60,000 views per video to get that kind of income, and if I do a video a day. But anyway, yeah, all of that turned me into a believer in YouTube, and a believer in the potential of YouTube to provide a reasonable chunk of income to support a location independent lifestyle where you don't have a boss, which is my ultimate direction I'm heading in. I almost said aspiration there, but it's not an aspiration, it's a dead certainty, because when I take things on I don't tend to not see them through. So that's that. YouTube, I think, will be a mainstay for me going forward until I finally gas myself or something and leave planet Earth. Well, no, I'll never leave planet Earth, I'll just turn into carbon, won't I? And be eaten by the plants and the ants and mildew and that kind of stuff. Just making coffee here. So YouTube is the mainstay. Number two, which I actually thought early on when I started writing books, I thought the book writing would become the mainstay quite quickly, but because video content creation has proved to be more my thing than writing books, I've put a lot more time and energy into the videos. It just comes naturally to do this every day, which is what I've been doing. So the book writing has not yielded as much income as it might have done had I focused more on writing and less on YouTube. But if I do pick up the writing, when I do pick up the writing again, that set alongside YouTube income, if I can also increase my video views, should begin to be quite, I mean, not well off, you know. What is £40 a day? 465 times. Okay. You can tell I used to lecture, can't you? I can't do basic sums. 365 times 40, so that's £14,600 a year. is basically what I'm spending on a day-to-day basis as my kind of minimum. Yeah. Now, if YouTube can yield, I don't know, £25 a day, and my book writing can yield £10 a day, I'm basically there covering my minimum annual spend of about £14,000. So book writing, how is that going? Well, there's an example of one of my books here, Return of the Butcher Bird. That one I published last year, the only book I actually published in 2025. This is the author's proof, with lots of corrections in there. You can go on to Amazon and buy a copy of this if you want. I've got about 7 books out now, I think. Some under Calvin Jones, which was actually my dad's name, but Calvin is my middle name. Some under my name, Steve Jones. So yeah, I do anticipate that book income will become a significant thing going forward by middle of this year, I think. And then there are some other little supplements to that income. So course creation, I don't know yet. Sorry, let's just go back to book writing. I should say it's the most, this thing, iPhone Mini 13, is just absolutely fantastic. You can write or draft, edit, format, design the covers for, and publish books just using one of these things. And you can also do the same with YouTube. You can shoot videos, edit videos, design thumbnails for basically a book cover, and upload and publish YouTube videos as well, just with this. This is a little powerhouse. And my first few years on YouTube and my first couple of years writing books, it was largely done on this. So shoot videos on this and write books. So basically use voice to text. So turn on the little voice to text functionality, which is free, built into the phone, and talk to it, and your manuscript is transcribed for free, instantly. Just think about, you could travel the world just with an iPhone and earn money writing books and on YouTube. And there are many, many other side hustles you could run purely using a small mobile phone. You know, this is an iPhone Mini. Has anyone noticed that I like small? I've got the world's smallest car, Citroen C1, and I live in it. And I've got the world's smallest phone. It's not the world's smallest, but you know what I mean. World's smallest iPhone, yeah. An iPhone 13 mini. I just love small stuff. Very strange. Now, course creation is going to become a bigger part of my life. Once this contract I'm doing ends, I'll have loads of free time for this. Course creation is basically online courses, video-based courses. Are basically a series of short 5 or 10 minute video clips for each unit within a course. And guess how you can create those? This blooming thing, iPhone Mini 13. Basically, I've got a decent enough microphone, I've got a decent enough camera there to create online courses, and they're high ticket items, although my first course that I create will be a cheap one, you know, £10 or £20 probably. But you can then sell subsequent ones for £100, £300, £500, and that becomes a, potentially, if you actually sell any, potentially quite decent chunk of income over a year. Now there's that, the course creation side hustle will become a thing, and I'll report on progress on that on this channel. Another one is dog walking. So I do love dogs, and I can combine, as you've seen I've done on this channel, walking the dog with creating a video. So I'm earning, it's double whammy there, isn't it really? Shooting a video which will then earn money, and walking the dog which earns money. Can't be bad, can it? So I'll be doing more dog walking over the summer, I think. I've already got one regular. I can get 2 or 3 regulars, then it should start to work quite nicely. So that's dog walking. Wildlife tours is another possibility. Slightly more complicated, but basically I could lead hour-long wildlife walks, starting from the seafront and just walking up around Ventnor Park, and probably go that way towards Wheelers Bay as well. Just hour-long for groups of, say, up to 4 people, maybe 6 people. Don't know what I'd charge the individuals for an hour-long walk. Make some suggestions if you've got any ideas in the comments section. It's slightly more complicated because you need public liability insurance, and is it indemnity? I think there's 2 lots of insurance you'd probably need for that, and a website and all that sort of stuff. There's a buddy just gone past. Yeah, if you can think of other side hustles, as in private business type things, not employment things, other little side hustles, my own businesses I could create whilst living in a vehicle, comment in the comments section. What I might do is a longer video considering a whole range of different options that you guys suggest. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and add on the walk video now because this one's a bit too long. So enjoy the walk that's coming up now. Good morning. Just on Undercliff Drive. I'm going to stick this little camera, magnetise it on the side of the car, on the side of Flea, and then make a cup of coffee. I'm going to do some video for a bird song ASMR video. Be back in a second. So, question is, where do I put it? I'll just clamp it there. Don't want it. I want it leaning up a little bit. Let's try that. Right, that is recording. I just walked in front of the camera, of course, but that's fine. Now then, what I'm now going to do is I don't want to be talking whilst I'm got the video going, so I'm going to put this microphone outside the car, then inside I'm going to be making the coffee, but you're going to be hearing the bird song because the microphone is outside the car. There's not a huge amount of bird song, but there's a bit. Right, so I'll leave you outside whilst I make a coffee. With the window up. Ginger nuts. Right, I think this camera's done now. So bringing the camera in. Turn my podcast off. I was actually listening to a podcast whilst I was recording that. Turn that off. Put the magnet back up there. Attach you to my zip. Here we go. Wow. There's a slightly overbearing, is that the word? Probably not. Over something article in the County Press, Isle of Wight County Press, about the habitat destruction at the Cascade. Yesterday, just turned the engine on so I can have a bit of warmth because it's quite chilly. It quotes me, put a photograph of me in there, although I didn't particularly want one of those, but they found one. Yeah, it was okay. They slightly misquoted me, but then the press always do. And they wrung a statement out of Ventnor Town Council, which wasn't a particularly helpful statement. Could cause them to dig their heels in. But, you know, it is what it is. I'll give you an update video on the... Never dunk a ginger nut mid-sentence. Yeah, I'll do an update video on the Cascade soon, but just to say I have sent a proposal to Ventnor Town Council, kind of a map with target notes for each area, divided the area up into sections and made suggestions for each, and got a reply back saying thank you very much, do you mind if we share this with our chairman of environmental something or other within the council, so another councillor basically, and I said obviously yes. So if any luck, that will lead to something positive, although this newspaper article could have done without that, to be honest. I'll try and remember to put a link in the bottom of this video, and if anyone wants to comment below the article, it's actually the lead article. Crazy. Oh dear. Yeah. Never work with the press. I didn't work with them, they phoned me up and I spoke to the guy and he got slightly the wrong end of the stick with some of it. It's fine, I mean it's fine, you know. Wow, it's windy, it's cold, and I have zero desire to actually have a walk, but it's 7:34. I could have a quick one, I suppose, but do I really want to? Let me have a think. Is there somewhere else I could go that's a bit different? Not sure really. Can I think of anywhere offhand? There's obviously loads of places, but if I go up out of the Undercliff, it would just be windswept and horrible. Even down here this morning, it's relatively exposed. Where do we reckon? What shall we do? Could just have a walk along here. I slept in a house last night. I got up at about 6:30. I didn't sleep very well. I don't sleep very well in that bed in the house. I got up about 6:30, got dressed and immediately came down to Flea. And drove out of Ventnor to here. It's a funny old carry on really. What I should have done is slept in Flea last night, because then I would have woken up a bit later, because I always sleep better in the car, and I probably wouldn't have parked here. I'd have been not sure really, to be honest, but somewhere, probably up at Blackgang, because that's probably my favourite spot. It would have been very windy up there though. So I did finally make a decision of where to go. Hold on, let me work out what Strava's got in it. Right, put Strava on. Yeah, that's going. I'm not going to bother taking binoculars because it's cold and I'm grumpy. I'm not going to tell you where I am, you've got to guess. Did I say that? I don't know. Anyone guessed yet? Put your answers in the description below this video. Make a note of something. Do we know whereabouts I am yet? There's lovely daffodils. Lovely spring-like daffodils. So a dry stone waller did a nice job of this little bit of wall that collapsed. Well, a tree went through it, I think. So let us give them a little shout out. Stone Wall-less. Wallace, presumably. Somebody called Wallace. Stone Wallace. Oh, Stonewall Ace. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not Wallace. Agent for best in the business. Ninink. Double glazed windows, doors. Yeah. Traditional, original. Excellent. Anyway, you've got their number if you need a dry stone wall rebuilt. They've done a nice job there, and it literally is a dry stone wall. There's no masonry, as far as I can tell. Excellent. Good job. Lots of habitat for creatures in there because of the way they've done it. Any idea where I am yet? There's absolutely nothing to tell you where I am at all. Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. No, nothing at all. Yeah. Yeah. Right, there's a little black cap sub-singing somewhere here. It's stopped. There's a little puddle just trickling down here. Well, where the water trickles down, there's normally a little puddle. Get your words in edgeways, Steve. That draws the little migrant birds down. Chiff-chaffs, that kind of thing. This little barn here would make a superb bird observatory building. Ooh, this is a bit muddy. I've worn completely the wrong shoes. It's getting a little bit not really overgrown, but a little bit compressed, that first section of the path. It's alright now. I used to come down here so much when I was a younger birder with energy. God, if only I had a YouTube channel in those days. In those days when I used to be a normie living in a house and had my bicycle, cycling around and then walking very, very long walks. If I'd had my YouTube channel back in those days, before YouTube existed, I think, probably, or maybe not actually, you'd have had a lot of content to go back and watch. Which reminds me, go to Steve Jones Wild Writer channel and watch as many of my videos as you can possibly bear, if you can bear to watch any of them, even if it's just in the background, because I'm trying to get 4,000 hours of watch time on it. I've already got over 1,000 subscribers on that other channel. Do me a favour. Yeah, squelchy. Why didn't I put the proper shoes on? So I heard a couple of chiff-chaffs in the background, which means some migrant chiff-chaffs have arrived this morning. It's nice to hear. I've had precious little evidence of bird migration so far this spring. And the weather's just gone a bit minging. So I don't expect to see much, but it's clear that some birds have arrived this morning, going by those chiff-chaffs around the leaf yard in the botanical garden. So if you worked out where I am yet, given we've just gone past a massive signpost that says where I am, I should imagine you have. Do put a comment in the comment section. I want some engagement. Oh, that is chilly. This is developing really nice habitat here, and give it a week or two, I will start to come down here a lot more often, because bird migration is going to really kick off. I haven't even got my binoculars this morning, which is probably a bit silly, because there are birds flitting around, dunnocks as far as I can see. Yeah, it's a bit too chilly, so I'm not going to walk very far from here. Just have a very quick look down this way, then head back to Flea. It's only 7:55, so it's still early. So I gather it's Friday today, and I gather the weather's going to improve a little bit. Fingers crossed, stranger things have happened. And if it does, bird migration should kick off. So the blackthorn is in flower, which is the first of the bird migration, always coincides with the first of the blackthorn. Oh dear, am I going to have to turn back? Is it too muddy? Am I too much of a wuss? Just leap over it. There we go. Right, there's a closed footpath sign there, which I could strategically ignore. Let's see if anyone else goes through it. Yeah, everyone's been ignoring it. Go a little way along here. Might as well, now we've gone this far. Now that's interesting. So this section was becoming very overgrown and difficult to navigate, but they have since moved the footpath inland by quite a distance actually. So you used to have to walk through this bramble and blackthorn on the edge here, but now we're out in the open, which is really nice. It means this bit of scrub will cover up, or kind of grow into itself, and is better habitat for the birds now. And I'm working with a landowner on this side to potentially do some nice things over there for the birds as well, but I'm not going to say any more about that for the moment. Oh, it's a dog walker. That's unusual. Very rarely meet people along this part of the King Charles Coastal Path. It's a national trail, a national coastal path, but not very well used at all, which is lovely. Nice and peaceful. Yeah, and muddy.
Morning.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah, it's been moved way inland here, the path. Yeah, so essentially this is a rollback situation where the cliff top is eroding relatively rapidly, and therefore the coastal path, which is a public right of way, gets moved inland by a metre or two every so often in sections where it's very close to the cliff top. So here they probably should have put it slightly further inland, because this bit of a cliff top is becoming very close now. So within probably a year they're going to have to move this yet again. It's only just been done, this bit of fencing. It literally has just been done. But they've done it too close, just in that section to the cliff. There is a lovely Battery Bay. Used to have a fishing boat down there. Andy Butler was the fisherman at one stage. Well, I didn't expect to come all the way along here this morning. Well, it's definitely lovely to be back down here after quite a while. How's the time going? 8 o'clock. Yeah. Be interesting to see what they've done along here, because I've not been along here since the coastal path was officially opened. I mean, it's always been a coastal path, but turned into the King Charles National Coastal Path. I've not been down here since the work was done to rebadge it as that, and they've done some improvements to the quality of the surface of the path in places. We just walked over a little bridge there that was new. So I was kind of intrigued to see. So just coming up, there's a slightly dodgy bit of the path. It was always dodgy. I wonder if they've done any improvements to this bit. I'm not going to go any further than this. The reason this path is closed currently is because there was a section of it collapsed ahead of us before we get to Woody Bay. I'm not going to go that far. Actually, let's have a quick look at the pond whilst we're down here. No binoculars. This is where I found an eastern subalpine warbler here a couple of marches ago, around about this time of year. Could even be on this day 4 years ago, whatever it was, 4 or 5 years ago. Feeding in the blackthorn, which was all in flower. It's not quite in flower here yet, so it might have been later in March. Okay, so they've not improved the path surface here. Yeah, it's just beginning to come into flower down here, the blackthorn. So when that is in flower, that will be when the eastern subalpine warbler turned up. Nice wren singing. Lots of birds just here. Like I say, I've got no binoculars, so I'm not going to try and look at everything. And there is the pond. Oh wow, there's a Chetty's warbler. That's a new bird for the Undercliff. Chetty's warbler. Not at all surprised. Just about hear it in the background. Marvellous. So there's coots on there as well, and I can see the little grebe, one of the little grebes. So the coots are new, they've only arrived within the last 2 years, and the little grebes arrived 3 years ago, I think. So there's a pair of little grebes and a colony of coots. There are 8 coots I can see at the moment distributed around, so that's 3 new colonists for the Undercliff here at the moment. Coot, little grebe, and now Chetty's warbler. It's pretty good going, isn't it, for one little pond? So coots never bred in the Undercliff up until, I think it's 2 years ago they arrived. Little grebe never bred in the Undercliff until 3 years ago, I think. And that Chetty's warbler, which is on territory singing, is new now, today. whatever next. It's not often you come to one little tiny pond and it's responsible for 3 new bird species. For the Undercliff, that is. All we need now are chuffs and red-backed shrikes and sellbuntings. Nothing like a bit of high ambition for nature, is there? Right. Now, let us navigate our way back through the sludge and the puddles and the muck and get back to Flea. She's going to be enjoying it where she is. She likes it there. Nice little spot, nice sheltered spot. So I've got a certain amount of criticism on my channel about my prototype bed build, because I did promote it as doing it properly this time, which I ended up not doing it properly this time, because what I'm going to do is, if it works, if fixing timber to that A-frame thingy, not A-frame, the subframe, whatever it is, if that works, clamping it down, then I will unbolt it all again, buy some proper timber, do some proper legs, get a nice sheet of wood to go across the top. Actually, it'll probably be slats, because airflow between the mattress and whatever's holding it up is essential if you don't want to get black mould. So it'll be on slats rather than a sheet of timber. So yeah, basically it was just a test run to see if that kind of approach would work, and it has worked. I've slept on that little bed since I did it twice. I've not finished it yet. The wood on top is literally just lying down on that upright I built. And I've now bought some bolts, some very small mini bolts, so I can bolt some strengthening timber cross beams on that bit of wood that I'll lay down. It'll probably do me for the summer, to be honest. I probably don't need to go to Trago Mills and do a proper build, because this time next year I will have a van. I promise. Having problems with the old charging of the Bluetti though, because I think it must be that the cigarette lighter thing is being overwhelmed. Somebody said, actually, yeah, let me make a note. Somebody said you can change, or you might be able to change something in the settings for the Bluettis or on the app, which I haven't downloaded yet. I'll have to do that. Oh, is that a yellowhammer? Pretty sure I just had an overflying yellowhammer. Yeah. Anyway, let me make a note of that. Remind myself. Thank you, whoever made that comment. So I think they were saying that there might be a setting in the app that allows you to reduce the draw of power, the power that the adapter or the lead is drawing out of the cigarette socket thingy. I'll look into that, try and find that person's comment again so I can find out exactly what they said. But if that is the case, then I'll do that. So it'll presumably reduce the charging velocity, or whatever the right word is. But that doesn't matter if it stops my car exploding or catching fire or whatever it might do if I'm trying to draw out too much energy. But that might explain why both the Bluetti connector and the new one I bought both seem to melt. The Bluetti one was just overheating, and the new one got disfigured at the end that goes into the cigarette lighter, which I assume is overheating. Well, based on that comment, I think that might be the issue. So obviously I don't want to be recklessly carrying on doing that. I've actually ordered a new lead, a new cigarette lighter plug-in thingy to go into the Bluetti, but obviously I don't want to use it for prolonged periods if it's damaging the car and potentially damaging the lead as well, the cable again. I don't want it catching fire or whatever the risk might be. It's quite dangerous potentially if the thing's melting in the cigarette lighter socket and I pull it out while the engine's running. It's potentially pretty dangerous. Don't know how long I'm going to survive as a car dweller. I guess you'll all find out, won't you? I don't know. I'm amazed I've survived this long, to be honest. Definitely an idiot in a car. Although, yeah, whatever. Go through this little gate. If I can work out how to open a kissing gate. It's not actually a kissing gate, but it's a farm gate. Well, I never. That's a nice little walk. 14 minutes past 8. Good timing. Go up muddy path again now. Yeah, what I'm going to have to do is start doing this walk a lot more often and bring in the big camera so I can photograph any nice birds I stumble upon and zoom into the coots on the pond and that kind of stuff and the little grebes. Whew. Going to end up being a very long video. So yeah, I can tell you where that was now, as if you don't already know. That's Bank End Farm, which is directly next to the Botanic Gardens, which is just there, over beyond the thatch roof. Just down at Orchard Bay and Battery Bay, one of my favourite areas of the Isle of Wight Undercliff, of which there are many favourite areas. Cross over without being run over. Just wanted to have a quick look at this. Yeah, I thought so. This has been done really badly. It's already dipping. It's only just been finished. They've not put enough cement in there or tarmac in there. How long before red kites become a fixture in the Undercliff, start to nest here and start to come down onto Ventnor Beach? That would be rather cool. Excuse me, jacket coming over my head. Right. Oh, why have you got a lawn growing in you, Flea? I don't know. I'm going to have to weed that out. Otherwise it'll start cracking the windscreen if the roots get going. Right, let us now head for the bay. Gonna start up, Flea. Rest assured, Flea has done that dodgy starting since, well, the previous owner said it always did that for him. So, it's not a new thing, the bad starting. It's just a Flea thing. Let's turn Strava off, remember to do it this time. And then let us head back to Ventnor. Now we're going to drive up this way, because this is a loop, this little road. But it gets very, very, very bumpy just up along here before we get to a section that's been resurfaced recently, where it goes nice and smooth. Quite why they only did some of it is anybody's guess, but they only did some of it. And quite why they did any of this road before they still haven't done Alpine Road is quite obvious, because this is an easy bit for them to do, or was an easy bit. So this is the unsurfaced bit. This is Island Roads we're talking about here, which is a criminal outfit if you ask me. This is terrible condition. So they, you're going to get up here, Flea. You struggling in second gear? Let's put you in first. So they didn't surface that bit, but just here, from now onwards, Island Roads did surface. This is nice and smooth, but as you can see, this is a totally obscure road that's only used by a few locals and me. Fair enough, it needed to be done eventually, but it was not a higher priority than Alpine Road, which is massively busy and is in a terrible state. And it was an easy job for them though, and they ticked the boxes to say we did this length of resurfacing. Okay, it was totally unnecessary, or not unnecessary, but it was not a priority. But we did it, we ticked that box. Isle of Wight Council, the client is completely hopeless, so they will not challenge them on it. I'm sure everyone lives, well, everyone does have to live with these contracting firms that basically fleece them for money to do really bad jobs. We certainly have that issue on the Isle of Wight. Big time. But at least some of our roads are in better condition than some of the roads you see on the mainland. Suffolk, last time I looked, was particularly bad. Going past Flowers Brook. So yeah, just a quick reminder about the format of my channel. What I'm normally doing is answering a question at the beginning of my videos and having these longer walks and talks and strolls and hikes as the second part of the video. So if you're more into these walks and talks, go to the second half of the video. If you just want to see the Q&A thing at the beginning, just watch the beginning. If you want to watch all of it, watch all of it. Alright, this is Alpine Road. The bit that they flatly refuse to surface. They say it's in perfectly good nick. It's blooming awful. Almost there, Flea. Almost there. What I think I'm going to have to do regarding the power supply for this vehicle is get a second power supply. So I was planning on getting a Anchor Solix, I think. But I'm now thinking I might actually get a smaller Bluetti. I like Bluetti. I've done they're nice bits of kit. So I might just get the second one of those. We'll have to see. Because then I can have one at the back of the car to plug in at night. and one at the front of the car, well, the AC 180 at the front to operate the air fryer and that kind of stuff, and one at the back to, you know, when I'm in bed basically I can keep stuff charged up whilst I'm in the back, because my head is always at the back of the car basically. So it would be handy to have a power bank at the back as well. If I get a smaller one I can sit it on the shelf at the back that Matt's built for me, kind chap. That would be good. Right, we are here. Although I strongly suspect that in summer the solar power or the solar panels I've got will be more than enough to keep the AC 180 fully charged. Keep it going every day as long as it's sunny. Yada yada yada. Is my is the microphone connected? I don't think it is. Let me try and connect it. Hold on. That's odd. Da, da, da. Bear with me for a second. There we go. I believe it is now connected properly. Right, let's turn this unit off. Put my other jacket on because it is rather chilly, although it's kind of, well, I won't say it's brightening up, but it's kind of not quite as horrible. It's not murky basically is what I'm trying to say, so the weather isn't quite as horrible as I'd feared it might be down here. Like I said, somebody did say it might get sunny over the weekend. Let me put my coat on. There we go. So you never know. What I'm going to do now before Besties opens, excuse me, I'm just struggling to get my jacket on, is and see if there's any wheat ears around the harbour. What time is it? Let me check the time. 8:37. Right. Let's sit here for 2 minutes. Right. I'm not going to bother taking binoculars again, which is undoubtedly very silly. Actually, let's open the boot of the car, let some air in, so Flea can breathe a bit. Certainly no sign of any wheat ears over there. No. Not even going to bother looking properly. Let's go and see if Waltz is about. So Walter Rayleigh, 8:51. I've got 9 minutes. Pick up my pace a little bit. He's not been there for 2 days now, although he has gone missing for exactly 2 days before, so you never know. I wouldn't have thought it would remain here given what's gone on. It's basically not really viable habitat anymore. Now the contractor has issued a statement saying that their operatives did search for nests prior to starting work, which is wrong. I was watching them and filming them at the time, and the fact that they didn't know there's a water rail here, they didn't know there were grey wagtails here, they didn't know there was a robin's nest, a wren's nest and a dunnock's nest, suggests they didn't do a very good nest search. And yes, they didn't do a nest search. It's not what they do. I can't see Walter over there. I can see Walter, I can't see Walter. But then again, I can't see the grey wagtails either, and they're definitely here somewhere. They're always here somewhere. Oh, I can hear one now. Speak of the devils. Oh, there's one just down here, I think. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? No sign of water. Right, a quick interlude. I really hope you're enjoying my channel, and I get quite a lot of questions. How did you end up living in a car? How do you live in a car? And what are your plans going forward? Well, I've written a book on that subject, Breaking Free, by Cornish van dweller, funnily enough. You can find a link to where to purchase that in the description below this video, and where you'll also find links to my other books, such as this one, oddly enough, which is How to Write a Book on a Smartphone. And this book was actually written on my iPhone Mini 13 using voice to text dictation. And you'll also find this book, Bird Watching Around Ventnor. Link to that in the description below this video, and this one as well, Wildlife Watching Around Ventnor. I've written about 10 books, all of which are linked in the description below this video. Right, let's get back to watching my videos.